My child, stop for a moment. Do not scroll past this. They don't want you to know what is already shifting in your life, but it is happening, quietly, steadily, undeniably. You have felt it in your spirit. You have sensed something changing beneath the surface, even when nothing around you looked different. This is not coincidence. This is not imagination. This is movement. I need you to listen carefully and stay with me all the way through, because what I am about to reveal will connect the dots you have been staring at in confusion. If you walk away too soon, you may miss the confirmation your heart has been asking for. Stay. Lean in. What is unfolding is bigger than you think, and by the end, you will see it clearly. My child, I need you to slow down with me for a moment and let this settle into your heart. You think what is happening around you is subtle, almost invisible, maybe even insignificant. You tell yourself that nothing is really changing. You look at your life and you still see some of the same faces, the same responsibilities, the same pressures that have followed you for years. And because your surroundings look familiar, you assume everything is standing still. But I want you to understand something deeply personal right now. What is unfolding in your life is not random. It is not accidental. It is not some meaningless sequence of events drifting through time. I am involved in it. I have been involved in it. And even the things you do not understand are part of a larger movement that has your name written on it. You have felt something lately, even if you have not put it into words. There is a quiet tension in your spirit. Not the kind that comes from fear, but the kind that comes from concision. You may have brushed it aside, thinking it was just stress or overthinking. But it is deeper than that. There is a reason certain conversations are affecting you differently. There is a reason certain environments no longer sit right with you. There is a reason you are beginning to look at your own reflection with new questions forming in your mind. You are not imagining it. You are sensing change before you see change. And the reason you sense it is because I am shifting things beneath the surface of your life. Just because the ground looks the same does not mean the foundation underneath has not been reinforced. You have asked me in quiet moments whether I still see you. You have wondered if I am paying attention to your small victories and your private disappointments. I want you to know that I have been watching more closely than you realize. Every time you chose patience instead of reaction, I saw it. Every time you held your tongue when you wanted to defend yourself, I noticed. Every time you kept going even though your heart felt tired, I was there. You thought you were simply enduring another ordinary day. I was strengthening you for something you have not yet stepped into. And I need you to hear me clearly here. What is happening is not chaos. It is alignment. There are people around you who do not recognize it yet. Some of them feel unsettled without knowing why. Some of them sense distance where growth has once existed. Some of them notice that you are not as easily influenced as before. They may not say it out loud, but they feel the shift. They do not want you to see it because awareness changes everything. If you realize you are growing beyond certain limitations, you will no longer accept them. If you understand that your confidence is being rebuilt from the inside, you will stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. That is why the change has been quiet. It is sacred. It is protected. It is happening in a way that cannot be easily interrupted. I also need you to recognize that the frustration you have felt lately is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are outgrowing something. When your spirit begins to mature, what once satisfied you starts to feel shallow. What once distracted you starts to feel empty. You may have wondered why things that used to excite you now leave you feeling neutral. That is not loss. That is refinement. I am adjusting your appetite for what truly sustains you. I am pulling you away from patterns that kept you small. And even though it feels uncomfortable, it is intentional. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck in some endless loop of repetition. You are in motion, even if the movement is not loud. I have been clearing paths you cannot see yet. I have been softening hearts in rooms you have not entered. I have been loosening the grip of things that once held you tightly. And the reason it feels subtle is because the strongest transformations often begin quietly. I am not trying to impress the crowd. I am shaping you. Stay close to me in this season. Do not rush to label what you cannot fully understand. Let yourself breathe in this in-between space. Trust that if I have begun something in you, I will not abandon it halfway. What is happening right now may not be obvious to everyone else. It may not even be obvious to you yet. But it is real, and you are not imagining the shift. My child, come closer in your heart and stay here with me. I know you have wrestled with the quiet. You have sat in rooms where the air felt heavy and wondered why I was not speaking the way you expected. You checked for signs. You replayed prayers in your mind. You searched for movement and saw stillness instead. And somewhere inside you, a small voice whispered that maybe nothing was happening at all. I want you to breathe with me right now and release that thought. The silence you have been walking through is not empty. It is intentional. It is layered. It is alive with unseen activity. You equated noise with progress. You believed that if I were working, you would feel constant confirmation. But growth is rarely loud. Think about the way roots form beneath the soil. You do not hear them stretching. You do not see them twisting through the darkness. Yet they are securing the tree so it can withstand wind that has not yet arrived. That is what I have been doing in you. While you were waiting for visible victory, I was building inner stability. While you were looking for outward change, I was reinforcing your core. And I allowed the quiet because distraction would have weakened your focus. I need you to consider something honestly. When life was louder, when everything felt fast and dramatic, you were often reacting instead of reflecting. You were surviving from moment to moment. You were managing chaos, juggling expectations, answering demands. In that environment, your spirit did not have space to deepen. The silence that frustrated you has given you room to confront parts of yourself you once avoided. It has slowed you enough to recognize your own patterns. It has exposed the places where fear tried to sit comfortably. That exposure is not punishment. It is preparation. You asked me to mature you. You asked me to strengthen your faith. You asked me to give you discernment. Those requests carry weight. They require refinement. Refinement is not flashy. It is patient. It is precise. It feels at times like nothing is moving because the movement is internal. And I know you prefer visible reassurance. I understand that about you. But if I gave you constant external signs, you would depend on them instead of trusting the quiet confidence I am growing inside you. Let me speak directly to your worry. You feared that the silence meant I was distant. You feared that your prayers were not heard. I need you to release that fear right now. Bring it to me. Do not hide it behind strength. Do not mask it with polite faith. Tell me honestly when you feel uncertain. I am not offended by your vulnerability. I welcome it. When you speak your doubt to me instead of letting it shape your decisions, you invite clarity back into your spirit. There were moments when you almost rushed ahead simply to escape the stillness. You considered settling for something less aligned because at least it felt like movement. I held you back. I know that restraint felt frustrating. I know you questioned why doors stayed closed. But if I had allowed you to run toward every opportunity that promised relief, you would have anchored yourself to something temporary. I was not withholding good from you. I was protecting you from premature attachment. Listen carefully now. The silence you are experiencing is not stagnation. It is strategy. I am aligning timing with readiness. I am aligning opportunity with identity. If I move you too soon, the weight of what I place in your hands would strain you instead of strengthen you. So I have been adjusting your capacity. I have been expanding your patience. I have been teaching you how to stand steady without constant affirmation. You may not realize how much you have grown in this quiet season. You respond differently than you once did. You pause before speaking. You consider consequences more carefully. You are less reactive, more reflective. A change did not appear overnight. It formed slowly in the stillness you disliked. That is why I need you to stop interpreting silence as abandonment. It is cultivation. Do not rush to fill the quiet with noise simply because it feels uncomfortable. Sit with it. Invite me into it. Let the stillness sharpen your awareness instead of feeding your anxiety. When the next door opens, and it will, you will walk through it with depth instead of desperation. You will carry steadiness instead of striving. And you will look back at this season and understand that what felt empty was actually full of intention. My child, I want you to stay grounded as we step into this next truth. Not everyone around you has celebrated your growth. Some smiled in your presence while quietly expecting your momentum to stall. Some offered encouragement that sounded supportive but carried subtle doubt beneath it. You sensed it at times. You felt the undercurrent. And you tried to dismiss it because you did not want to believe that anyone would quietly root against you. I need you to understand something without becoming hardened by it. Not everyone is comfortable when you evolve. When you were uncertain, when you doubted yourself, you were easier to influence. You asked for permission. You sought validation. You hesitated before trusting your own discernment. That version of you did not threaten established dynamics. But you are changing. You are thinking more independently. You are measuring decisions with wisdom instead of impulse. You are less willing to shrink for the sake of peace. A shift unsettles those who benefited from your insecurity. Do not let this awareness make you defensive. Stay calm. Stay steady. I am not telling you this to create suspicion. I'm revealing it so you remain discerning. When your confidence grows, environments adjust. Some people lean in with genuine support. Others pull back because they preferred the earlier version of you. That does not mean you become bitter. It means you recognize reality without resentment. You may notice subtle differences. Conversations that once flowed easily now feel strained. Advice that once felt neutral now carries tension. There may be an unspoken resistance when you assert boundaries. Do not react impulsively. Observe quietly. Let your growth speak for itself. You do not need to announce your transformation. You do not need to argue for your maturity. Walk it out. Consistency will reveal everything. I want you to hear me clearly here. The opposition you sensed was never greater than the protection around you. Even when others underestimated you, I was strengthening you. Even when some doubted your capacity, I was increasing it. And the reason certain resistance feels more noticeable now is because your influence is expanding. Growth disrupts comfort zones. Progress exposes hidden insecurities in others. Guard your heart carefully in this season. Do not seek revenge. Do not try to prove anyone wrong. Release the need to win arguments that do not matter. Instead, focus on alignment. Focus on obedience. Focus on staying close to me. When you prioritize clarity over competition, you protect your peace. I also need you to understand that not all opposition is dramatic. Sometimes it appears as subtle discouragement. Sometimes it shows up as someone minimizing your idea. Sometimes it manifests as repeated reminders of your past mistakes. That is why your discernment must stay sharp. When you feel small attempts to pull you back into old insecurity, pause. Recognize it. Do not absorb it. Bring it to me instead. There is something else you must see. The same people who once overlooked you may soon witness your elevation. How you carry yourself now matters. If you allow resentment to take root, you will contaminate the very growth I have nurtured in you. But if you remain humble, steady, and focused, your progress will speak louder than any defense you could offer. Stay centered. Stay gracious. Stay aware. I am guiding you through this transition with intention. The discomfort you feel from certain directions is not a sign to retreat. It is evidence that you are no longer confined to who you used to be. My child, I want you to sit with me and look back for a moment, not to relive the pain, but to recognize what was forming inside you while you thought you were merely surviving. You told yourself you were just getting through it. You minimized your endurance. You dismissed your strength as necessity. But I saw something different. I saw resilience being forged in real time. I saw you wake up on days when your heart felt heavy and still choose to move forward. I watched you carry responsibilities while quietly managing disappointment. You did not feel brave. You felt tired. Yet you kept going. That matters more than you realize. You thought resilience would feel like confidence. You assumed strength would feel loud and certain. Instead, it felt like persistence. It felt like showing up when you did not want to. It felt like swallowing pride, adjusting expectations, and continuing without applause. That quiet consistency built something durable inside you. It shaped your reactions. It softened your impulsiveness. It taught you patience in ways no sudden success ever could. I allowed those seasons because they were preparing you for weight you have not yet carried. There were nights when you questioned your capacity. You wondered if you were stretching beyond your limits. You feared that one more disappointment might undo you. But every time you felt close to breaking, you discovered that you could bend without collapsing. That discovery was not accidental. I was expanding your endurance carefully. I was increasing your threshold for pressure so that when responsibility grows, it will not overwhelm you. You are stronger now, not in theory, but in experience. Let me ask you something directly. If I had given you what you wanted 3 years ago, would you have handled it with the steadiness you have today? Be honest with yourself. Back then, you were still reacting from insecurity. You were still seeking validation from people who did not understand your calling. You were still measuring your worth by approval. The delays you resented were shaping your emotional maturity. They were protecting you from carrying influence without depth. I want you to stop underestimating what you endured. Stop calling it ordinary. Stop telling yourself that anyone could have handled it the way you did. You navigated betrayal without becoming bitter. You faced rejection without abandoning your identity. You absorbed criticism without losing your direction. That is not common. That is cultivated strength. That is refinement at work. And now listen closely. The moment you are stepping into requires that resilience. What is unfolding ahead of you will demand clarity under pressure. It will require patience in the face of misunderstanding. It will call for humility when recognition arrives. Without the resilience you built quietly, you would mismanage what is coming. I did not allow you to struggle without purpose. I was constructing capacity. Stand up internally right now and acknowledge your growth. Do not dismiss it. Do not downplay it. Look at who you are today compared to who you were when the trials began. You think you are the same person. You are not. Your reactions are slower. Your emotions are steadier. Your discernment is sharper. That evolution did not appear overnight. It formed through repetition, through reflection, through refinement. I need you to carry this awareness forward. When new challenges appear, do not panic. Remind yourself of what you have already survived. Remember the nights you thought you would not make it through. Remember the seasons that seemed endless but eventually shifted. You have evidence of your resilience. Use it. Let it anchor you. Invite me into this next phase with confidence instead of fear. Say it quietly if you need to, but mean it. I trust what you built in me. The trust will steady your steps. The trust will quiet unnecessary anxiety. The same resilience that carried you here will carry you forward. Hold that confidence gently, not with pride, but with gratitude. Because what is coming will require the version of you that endured. And you are ready for it. My child, there is something I need to untangle in your thinking. You have associated quiet seasons with distance. When you do not feel constant emotional reassurance, you assume I have stepped back. When circumstances settle into routine, you interpret it as stagnation. I want you to challenge that assumption right now. Quiet does not equal absence. Stillness does not mean abandonment. Sometimes the calm you experience is the result of battles already won on your behalf. You are accustomed to equating intensity with significance. When everything feels dramatic, you sense that something important is happening. But maturity often unfolds without spectacle. Think about how dawn arrives. It does not burst onto the horizon with noise. It gradually brightens the sky until darkness loses its hold. That is how my work in you often unfolds. Gradual, subtle, steady. You may not notice the light increasing because you are looking for sudden change. There were moments when you wanted visible confirmation that I was active. You wanted immediate feedback. You wanted clarity in bold letters. Instead, you received quiet impressions, gentle nudges, subtle restraint. You questioned whether that was enough. I need you to understand that subtle guidance builds discernment. If I overwhelmed you with dramatic signs, you would rely on spectacle rather than sensitivity. I am teaching you to recognize my voice in calmness. Let me invite you into something practical. When the next quiet season arrives, instead of asking, "Where are you?" ask, "What are you shaping?" Shift the question. Lean in rather than pulling away. Quiet seasons are often consolidation seasons. They stabilize gains. They reinforce identity. They allow integration of lessons learned during more turbulent times. You have already seen evidence of this. After your last major trial, there was a period where nothing seemed urgent. You felt restless. You wondered why momentum slowed. Yet during that calm, your perspective settled. Your priorities clarified. Your emotions balanced. That calm was not emptiness. It was integration. I also need you to notice something else. The absence of chaos in certain areas of your life right now is not coincidence. It is mercy. There are conflicts that could have escalated but did not. There are complications that could have intensified but resolved quietly. You may not realize how many potential disruptions were redirected before reaching you. Quiet sometimes reflects protection. Do not sabotage calm simply because you are uncomfortable with stillness. Do not create drama to feel alive. Sit in peace. Practice gratitude. Allow stability to feel normal instead of suspicious. Your nervous system does not need constant tension to justify growth. Your spirit does not require constant crisis to remain dependent on me. I am closer and quiet than you think. I am guiding through restraint as much as through action. When you sense steadiness, do not assume I have stepped away. I am often most active when you feel least distracted. So here is what I want you to do. The next time you feel tempted to interpret calm and distance, pause. Take a breath. Invite me into that moment. Say, help me see what you are doing. That simple shift will train your awareness. It will strengthen your trust. It will anchor you in confidence rather than doubt. Stay attentive. Stay open. Stay grounded. The quiet you are experiencing is not a void. It is preparation layered with protection, and I am fully present within it. My child, I want you to lean in and listen closely, because what I am about to unfold in your heart is something you have felt but not fully named. The shift you keep looking for on the outside has already begun on the inside. You keep scanning your circumstances, watching for doors to swing open, waiting for people to change their tone, hoping for visible proof that something new is happening. Yet the most powerful transformation has been taking place in the quiet chambers of your own spirit. Before environments rearrange, identity realigns. Before promotion becomes public, maturity becomes private. I have been working where only you and I can see. You are thinking differently now. You hesitate before reacting. You question motives more carefully. You sense when something is not aligned with your growth. That awareness is not accidental. That awareness is awakening. It is subtle, but it is steady. And it is stronger than you realize. There was a time when you absorbed every opinion. You allowed outside voices to define your internal value. You bent to avoid conflict. You stayed silent to keep the peace. But something inside you has stiffened, not in bitterness, but in clarity. You are no longer as easily shaken by criticism. You do not chase approval the way you once did. That internal recalibration is the real revolution. Do not dismiss this shift because it feels quiet. Quiet change is often the deepest change. A mountain does not rise overnight. It forms layer by layer beneath pressure. You have been under pressure. Pressure from extravagance. Pressure from disappointments. Pressure from trying to hold everything together. And instead of crushing you, that pressure has compressed you into something more solid. You are not as fragile as you once were. You are not as frantic as you once were. You are steadier. You are stronger. You are sharper. I need you to cooperate with this internal shift. Do not resist it because it feels unfamiliar. When you sense yourself outgrowing certain conversations, do not force yourself to shrink just to fit back in. When you feel less interested in drama, do not question your maturity. When you notice that your tolerance for disrespect has decreased, do not apologize for your boundaries. Step into this new awareness. Accept it. Say it out loud if you need to. I am changing. I am growing. I am becoming more aligned. This internal transformation is strategic. The enemy would prefer that you focus only on external signs because those are easier to manipulate. But internal growth cannot be faked. It cannot be staged. It cannot be stolen. When your thinking evolves, your decisions follow. When your identity strengthens, your direction clarifies. That is why the shift began inside you. I am building you from the inside out. Depth before display. Substance before spotlight. Let me speak plainly to you. Some people will not recognize this version of you immediately. They may try to interact with you based on who you were. They may test old boundaries. They may expect old reactions. Do not snap at them. Do not feel pressured to explain everything. Simply remain consistent. Consistency will reveal the change more clearly than confrontation ever could. You do not need to announce your growth. Live it. Let it breathe. Let it settle. Invite me deeper into this internal alignment. Ask me to expose anything in you that still needs refinement. Be brave enough to examine your motives. Be honest enough to admit when pride tries to disguise itself as confidence. Growth requires humility. Strength without humility becomes harsh. But humility anchored in strength becomes wisdom. That is what I am cultivating in you. You are not waiting for transformation. You are walking in it. Even if your surroundings look the same today, your spirit is not the same as it was yesterday. And that difference will eventually reshape everything around you. Stay with me. Guard this internal shift carefully. Protect your peace. Protect your progress. Because what is happening inside you is the foundation for everything that is about to unfold outside you. My child, I want you to approach this next truth with calm confidence, not suspicion, not anger, but clarity. There were people who were comfortable when you doubted yourself. Not necessarily because they hated you, but because your uncertainty made you manageable. When you hesitated, they felt secure. When you questioned your worth, they did not feel challenged. When you shrank back, their position felt safe. And you did not even realize the dynamic at the time. You thought you were just being humble. You thought you were just being cautious. But your doubt created space for others to define your limits. I am not telling you this to make you cynical. I am telling you this so you recognize why the atmosphere feels different now. As your confidence stabilizes, some relationships feel strained. As your voice grows clearer, some interactions feel tense. That tension is not always hostility. Sometimes it is adjustment. When you stop apologizing for existing, when you stop minimizing your abilities, when you stop asking permission to take up space, the balance shifts. And not everyone knows how to adapt to that shift. You may notice subtle reactions. A raised eyebrow when you express a firm opinion. A change in tone when you decline something that no longer serves you. A quiet withdrawal when you no longer seek constant reassurance. Do not interpret these moments as rejection. Interpret them as recalibration. Dynamics that were built on your insecurity cannot remain the same when you grow secure. That is natural. That is inevitable. But here is where you must be careful. Do not swing into arrogance just because you have recognized your worth. Stay grounded. Stay grounded. Confidence rooted in me is calm, not combative. You do not need to prove your evolution. You do not need to confront every subtle shift. Let your steadiness speak. Let your growth settle without turning it into a spectacle. I also need you to forgive those who preferred the smaller version of you. Some of them did not realize what they were doing. Some of them were operating from their own fear. When you grow, you unintentionally confront others with their own stagnation. And discomfort can cause resistance. Release resentment. Do not carry it forward. Bitterness will slow your momentum. Grace will accelerate it. Command your mind right now to reject old narratives. When a thought whispers that you are not enough, challenge it. When insecurity tries to return, confront it with truth. You are not the uncertain person you once were. You are not the hesitant version who second-guessed every instinct. You have learned. You have matured. You have strengthened. Accept that without apology. I want you to take a quiet moment after this and reflect honestly. Where have you been shrinking to make others comfortable? Where have you been downplaying your growth? Where have you been softening your voice to avoid tension? Bring those areas to me. Invite courage into them. Step forward with calm clarity instead of fear. This shift is not about superiority. It is about alignment. When you stand firmly in who you are becoming, you create healthier dynamics around you. Some people will rise with you. Others may drift away. That is not failure. That is filtration. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. You are not here to intimidate anyone. You are here to become fully who you were designed to be. And as you step into that fullness, do not retreat back into doubt just to preserve comfort. You have outgrown that space. They were comfortable when you doubted yourself, but I was never comfortable with you hiding your light. And now that you are rising, now that you are standing firm in who I formed you to be, understand this: your growth is not just for you. It is a torch meant to ignite other souls still trapped in hesitation. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting seed into a harvest of courage across nations. As I declared, give, and it shall be given unto you. And I speak it over you now, pressed down, shaken together, running over. When you feel the stirring to support, that is not pressure. That is me inviting you into partnership. Oil flows where there is obedience, and fire spreads where there is fuel. Your generosity becomes light in rooms where insecurity once ruled. Act now, so boldly, and watch me multiply what you release. My child, I want you to breathe slowly as I begin this, because what I am about to say will require you to look at your past without longing for it. There were doors you knocked on again and again. There were opportunities you chased with determination, relationships you clung to with hope, positions you desired with hunger. You prayed over those doors. You pictured yourself walking through them. You imagined how different your life would look if they finally opened. And when they stayed closed, you felt rejected. You wondered if you were unworthy. You questioned whether I was withholding something good from you. But now, something unexpected is happening. Those same doors are losing their emotional grip on you. You are not as drawn to them anymore. You are not as desperate to prove yourself in those spaces. The urgency has softened. The attachment has weakened. You might not even have noticed it fully, but I see it clearly. What once felt like life or death now feels optional. What once seemed like the only path now feels like just one possibility among many. That is not indifference. That is liberation. I am gently removing the power those closed doors once held over your sense of worth. I'm teaching you that your value was never tied to their approval. Let me speak plainly to your heart. Some of those doors were never meant to open because they would have limited you to a smaller version of your calling. You were asking for entry into rooms that would have celebrated you at first and then confined you later. You were willing to settle for access when I was preparing expansion. If I had granted you immediate entry, you might have mistaken proximity for purpose. I needed you to mature beyond that misunderstanding. And now, look at you. You are no longer begging for spaces that failed to recognize you. You are no longer chasing validation from people who measured you incorrectly. Command your heart right now to release any lingering regret. Do not romanticize what did not happen. Do not write history to make rejection look like destiny lost. If those doors were aligned with your future, they would have remained open. The fact that they closed was not a reflection of your deficiency. It was a reflection of my direction. I redirected you. I restrained you. I repositioned you. And now you are beginning to see that what you once called loss was actually leverage. Here is something else you must understand. When a door loses its power over you, it can no longer manipulate your decisions. When you stop idolizing an outcome, you become free to pursue purpose instead of approval. That freedom is happening in you right now. You are less reactive. You are less anxious about missed opportunities. You are less consumed by comparisons. That is not apathy. That is alignment. Invite me into this release process fully. If there is still a door you secretly wish had opened, Bring it to me honestly. Tell me where you still feel the sting. I can handle your disappointment. I can hold your frustration. But do not let nostalgia pull you backward. What is ahead of you requires emotional availability. It requires open hands, not clenched fists. You are not being shut out. You are being shifted upward. And when new doors begin to appear, they will not feel forced. They will not require you to compromise your identity. They will not demand you shrink to fit. They will align naturally with the person you have become. Walk forward with that confidence. Let the old doors fade without resentment. They serve their purpose by teaching you what not to attach your worth to. Stay steady. Stay open. The power dynamic has changed. The doors that once ignored you no longer define you. And that shift, my child, is evidence that something greater is preparing to open. My child, I know how often you have compared your timeline to others. You have scrolled through updates. You have listened to announcements. You have watched peers move into milestones that you quietly desired. And in those moments, a subtle thought crept into your mind. Maybe I am late. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I am falling behind. I want you to confront that thought right now and release it. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not overlooked. Your pace has been intentional. You measure progress by visible markers. Promotions. Achievements. Public recognition. But I measure readiness. I measure depth. I measure sustainability. If I had accelerated your timeline to match someone else's, you would have carried weight you were not yet equipped to manage. You would have stepped into visibility without stability. And visibility without stability is fragile. I refuse to build your future on a fragile foundation. Consider this honestly. There were seasons when you struggled with insecurity. There were times when you reacted impulsively. There were moments when you made decisions from emotion rather than wisdom. If success had arrived during those phases, it would have magnified your weaknesses instead of highlighting your strengths. The slower pace you resented was strengthening your internal framework. It was solidifying your identity so that when expansion comes, it will not destabilize you. Stop measuring your journey against someone else's highlight reel. You do not see their private battles. You do not know their internal struggles. You are comparing your behind-the-scenes growth to their curated moments. That comparison is unfair to you. It distorts reality. It feeds insecurity. Command your mind to reject that distortion. Your timeline is not defective. It is deliberate. I also need you to recognize the quiet advantages of your slower pace. You have learned patience. You have developed discernment. You have built resilience. Those qualities will protect you in ways quick success never could. When doors open for you, you will walk through them with maturity. You will not be intoxicated by attention. You will not be derailed by minor criticism. You will not crumble under pressure. That stability is priceless. Invite gratitude into your current position. Even if it feels modest. Even if it feels transitional. There are lessons here that will not repeat. There is wisdom forming here that will not be available once your circumstances change. Absorb it. Appreciate it. Do not rush through it in frustration. You are not racing against anyone. You are being refined for something specific. Your journey has nuances that cannot be replicated. Your calling has layers that require preparation others may not need. That does not make you delayed. It makes you distinct. Trust my pacing. Trust my timing. Trust my process. You are exactly where you need to be for the growth I am shaping in you. And when the next chapter unfolds, you will not look back wishing you had hurried. You will look back understanding why every delay mattered. Stay patient. Stay faithful. Stay grounded. You are not behind. You are being built. My child, I know there are moments you still revisit in your mind. You replay conversations. You imagine how things might have unfolded if certain doors had opened when you begged for them to. You picture the life you thought you would already be living. And somewhere inside you, there is a quiet ache that asks, why did it take so long? Come closer and let me speak gently but clearly into that ache. The delay you resented was not punishment. It was protection. It was precision. It was preservation. You thought I was withholding something good from you, but I was shielding you from something that would have quietly drained you. You did not have the full picture. You saw opportunity. I saw outcome. You saw excitement. I saw endurance. You saw the surface, I saw the structure. If I had allowed you to step into certain roles too early, the pressure would have cracked areas of you that were still fragile. If I had granted you immediate access to certain relationships, your heart would have attached before your discernment matured. If I had accelerated your timeline, you would have gained visibility without stability. That combination rarely ends well. It impresses for a moment and collapses under strain. I refuse to build your future on a weak foundation. Think back honestly. There were seasons when your emotions ruled your decisions. There were times when you were hungry for affirmation and would have accepted it from the wrong sources. There were moments when you mistook attention for affection, opportunity for purpose, applause for alignment. You were sincere, but you were still learning. I saw that. I loved you enough to slow the process. You called it delay. I called it development. Do not romanticize what you were not ready for. Do not imagine that earlier access would have automatically meant greater joy. Some paths look smooth at the entrance and complicated at the center. I redirected you before you could entangle yourself. You may never see all the details of what I shielded you from, but trust that I intervened with intention. There were conflicts you never encountered because I closed the door. There were betrayals you never experienced because I kept you out of reach. There were burdens you never carried because I adjusted your route. Right now, I want you to release any lingering resentment about the timing of your life. Let it go. Open your hands mentally and say, I trust the pacing. Do not cling to frustration as if it proves your ambition. Ambition without patience becomes anxiety. Drive without discernment becomes distraction. I was teaching you steadiness. I was strengthening your judgment. I was refining your capacity so that when responsibility increases, it will not intimidate you. You also need to understand that protection does not always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels like rejection. Sometimes it feels like silence. Sometimes it feels like standing still while others move ahead. But protection preserves potential. It safeguards your future from premature exposure. It ensures that when your moment arrives, you will not collapse under the weight of it. Invite me into your reflection. Ask me to show you where delay has already benefited you. Look at how your thinking has matured. Notice how your reactions have softened. Recognize how your confidence has stabilized. Those developments were born in the waiting. The very qualities that will sustain you in your next chapter were forged in what you once called stagnation. You are not late. You are prepared. The delay did not diminish you. It deepened you. It strengthened you. It steadied you. And now, when doors begin to open, you will walk through them with clarity instead of chaos. You will not scramble. You will not grasp. You will step forward grounded. Stay grateful for the restraint you once questioned. It preserved you for something that requires the version of you that exists now, not the one you used to be. My child, something has shifted in the way you respond to pressure. You may not have fully articulated it, but I see it clearly. You are harder to manipulate now. That is not because you have become cold. It is because you have become aware. You recognize patterns you once overlooked. You sense inconsistencies you once ignored. You pause before committing in ways you never did before. That awareness is growth. That awareness is wisdom forming quietly in your spirit. There was a time when guilt could steer you. A raised voice could unsettle you. Disapproval could silence you. You were quick to adjust yourself to maintain harmony. You believed that keeping the peace required shrinking your truth. But experience has educated you. Disappointment has sharpened you. You have learned that not every request deserves compliance. You have discovered that not every emotional appeal requires surrender. That realization has strengthened your spine. This shift did not happen overnight. It developed through discomfort. It formed through moments when you realized you had been persuaded into situations that drained you. It matured through conversations where you later wished you had spoken up. You replayed those interactions in your mind and promised yourself you would respond differently next time. And slowly, quietly, you did. You began to ask questions. You began to set boundaries. You began to say no without excessive explanation. That evolution is significant. Do not apologize for this strength. Do not let anyone convince you that clarity is cruelty. There is a difference between compassion and compliance. You can remain kind without becoming controllable. You can remain loving without being leveraged. I am teaching you discernment so that your generosity is not exploited. I am teaching you confidence so that your silence is not assumed. Pay attention to how your body reacts now in certain conversations. You notice tension sooner. You sense manipulation faster. You detect when someone is trying to guilt you into agreement. That sensitivity is not paranoia. It is perception. I have been fine-tuning your instincts. Trust them. Do not override them just to avoid discomfort. At the same time, stay humble. Discernment without humility can become suspicion. Strength without grace can become harshness. Ask me to balance your clarity with compassion. Invite me to refine your boundaries so they protect without isolating. Growth requires calibration. You are learning how to stand firm without becoming rigid. You will notice that as you become harder to manipulate, some people will adjust their approach. Some will respect your boundaries. Others may push against them. Do not be intimidated by resistance. Stay steady. When you are consistent, manipulation loses its leverage. It cannot hook into someone who recognizes the pattern. I want you to take ownership of this development. Say it confidently. I am not as easily swayed as I once was. That is not arrogance. That is awareness. You have matured. You have strengthened. You have become more anchored in your identity. And that stability will protect you in spaces that require leadership. Continue inviting me into your decision-making. Do not rely solely on your own perception. Ask for confirmation. Seek wisdom. But do not revert to old insecurity. You have grown beyond that. You are steadier now. You are sharper now. You are wiser now. Carry this strength quietly. Let it inform your choices. Let it guard your peace. Let it support your progress. Because as your influence expands, discernment will become one of your greatest assets. My child, come sit with me in this truth because you have not fully realized what is happening within you. Your peace is becoming noticeable. Not loud. Not theatrical. Not something you parade in front of others. It is steady. It is subtle. It is strong. There was a time when stress shaped your expression, Worry traced lines across your thoughts. You carried tension in your shoulders, in your tone, in your timing. You reacted quickly. You absorbed pressure deeply. And now, even though circumstances have not become perfect, something in you has settled. That settling is not accidental. I placed it there. You may not feel dramatically different, but others sense it. They notice that you do not escalate as easily. They see that you pause before responding. They observe that you are not as easily pulled into conflict. That calm presence is not weakness. It is controlled confidence. It is maturity taking shape. And I want you to recognize that peace is power. Quiet confidence often speaks louder than loud confrontation. When you remain grounded while others are agitated, you create stability in unstable environments. That is influence. There were storms you thought would drown you. Emotional storms, relational storms, financial storms. And yet you are still standing. Not frantic, not defeated. You learned how to breathe through tension. You learned how to wait without unraveling. You learned how to trust without constant reassurance. That learning formed resilience, and that resilience formed peace. This is not passive peace. It is anchored peace. It is the kind that allows you to move thoughtfully rather than impulsively. I want you to protect this peace. Guard it. Do not hand it over cheaply. When someone tries to provoke you, do not rush to defend yourself. When anxiety attempts to revisit your mind, do not entertain it as if it is welcome. Take authority over your thoughts. Tell your spirit, stay steady. Invite me into your reactions before you speak. That small pause will preserve your clarity. That restraint will protect your direction. You are not the person who panics at every delay anymore. You are not the person who collapses under minor criticism. You are not the person who feels compelled to explain every decision. That evolution matters. It is visible. It is valuable. And it is evidence that you are becoming someone capable of handling greater responsibility without losing composure. Let me say this carefully. Peace is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of trust. You trust me more now than you did before. Even when questions remain unanswered, you do not spiral the way you once did. That shift changes everything. Because when your internal world is calm, external turbulence loses its power over you. I want you to cultivate this peace intentionally. Do not treat it as accidental. Spend time in stillness. Step away from unnecessary noise. Choose conversations that nourish rather than drain you. Be selective about what you allow into your mind. You are building an atmosphere around yourself, and that atmosphere will influence your future. Others may not understand how you became this steady. Some may assume you are indifferent. You are not indifferent. You are intentional. There is a difference. You care deeply, but you no longer carry everything emotionally. You have learned how to release what is not yours to control. Continue walking in this calm confidence. Let it shape your decisions. Let it guide your tone. Let it anchor your leadership. Because what is ahead will require someone who can remain grounded when pressure rises. And you are becoming that person. My child, there is something significant I need you to recognize. The enemy has lost access in areas where he once had influence. This is not something you need to announce publicly. It is something you need to understand internally. There were patterns that used to hook you quickly. Certain thoughts could spiral you. Certain impatience could distract you. Certain fears could paralyze you. And now, those same triggers do not hold the same power. That is not coincidence. That is closure. Access is subtle. It is not always dramatic. It often looks like a repeated thought pattern. It feels like a familiar insecurity resurfacing at the worst moment. It sounds like a quiet accusation that questions your worth. Over time, you have learned to recognize those patterns earlier. You interrupt them sooner. You do not entertain them as long. A shift is spiritual maturity in motion. You used to negotiate with doubt. You used to entertain fear as if it deserved a seat at your table. Now, you dismiss it faster. You do not give it as much room to grow. That discipline did not happen accidentally. I have been strengthening your awareness. I have been increasing your sensitivity to what drains you versus what builds you. And because you have responded to that guidance, certain doors have closed permanently. Let this truth settle into your spirit. What once consumed you now barely distracts you. That is growth. What once defined your self-image now feels outdated. That is freedom. What once kept you awake at night now feels manageable. That is progress. You may not celebrate these quiet victories, but I do. I need you to remain vigilant without becoming fearful. Just because access hath been restricted does not mean opposition disappears entirely. Stay alert. Stay grounded. When old thoughts attempt to reintroduce themselves, do not welcome them out of familiarity. Recognize them. Reject them. Replace them with truth. Speak over yourself with authority. You are not who you used to be. There were moments when you believed certain struggles would define you permanently. You assumed that some weaknesses were simply part of your identity. But identity is not static. It evolves. It matures. It strengthens. You have allowed refinement. You have allowed correction. You have allowed growth. And because of that, areas that once felt like open doors for distraction are now sealed. Invite me to continue reinforcing these boundaries. Ask me to expose any subtle vulnerabilities that remain. Not with fear, but with courage. Growth is ongoing. Strength is maintained through awareness. You are not powerless. You are not defenseless. You are becoming disciplined. Understand something else clearly. The enemy loses access when you stop agreeing with his narrative. Agreement is what gives influence. When you believe you were inadequate, that belief amplified insecurity. When you believe you were stuck, that belief magnified stagnation. Now, you think differently. You see yourself through a clearer lens. A change reduces influence. Walk confidently in that awareness. You are not constantly fighting the same battles because you are not the same person. You have matured. You have strengthened. You have aligned more closely with truth. And that alignment changes your vulnerability. Continue guarding your mind. Continue protecting your peace. Continue rejecting lies quickly. What no longer has access cannot control you. And the space that has been cleared will soon be filled with new opportunity. My child, I want you to lean in and really hear me now, because this part requires trust beyond what you can verify with your eyes. There are conversations happening about you that you know nothing about. Your name is being mentioned in rooms you have never stepped into. Decisions are being shaped in spaces you have never seen. You assume that if you are not present, nothing is progressing. You think that if you are not pushing, nothing is moving. But I need you to release that belief. I am able to position you without your performance. I am able to elevate you without your announcement. You have spent years believing that progress requires constant effort, constant visibility, constant proving. That mindset kept you striving even when you were exhausted. You thought if you paused, you would fall behind. But what you are stepping into now does not depend on frantic hustle. It depends on alignment. And alignment often works in silence. While you have been focusing on refining your character, I have been arranging your opportunities. While you have been strengthening your peace, I have been softening hearts in places you have not yet arrived. Let me say this carefully so it settles properly in your spirit. Preparation and positioning are happening simultaneously. You are not waiting idly. You are being established internally while I'm establishing connections externally. There are individuals who have heard of you through indirect channels. There are doors that have opened slightly because someone recognized your integrity before you ever introduced yourself. You do not see these shifts because they are subtle. But subtle does not mean insignificant. Quiet movement can carry significant momentum. You not sabotage this season by trying to force exposure. Resist the urge to broadcast every development. Resist the temptation to over-explain your vision. Not everything requires announcement. Some things are sacred while they are forming. Some doors are strengthened by discretion. If you rush ahead trying to prove progress, you may disrupt the very timing I am orchestrating. Stay steady. Stay patient. Stay focused on what is in front of you right now. You may wonder why I am emphasizing this. It is because insecurity can tempt you to overcompensate. When you cannot see visible results, you may feel pressure to create them artificially. You may feel the need to remind others of your value. You may consider inserting yourself into spaces prematurely. Do not do that. Let your work speak. Let your character echo. Let your consistency create credibility. I want you to imagine this clearly. Somewhere, someone is discussing a need. They are describing the kind of person required to fill a gap. They are outlining qualities that align with who you are becoming. They do not yet realize that you are the answer. But the connection is forming. Timing is aligning. When the moment arrives, it will feel less like chance and more like confirmation. Trust that I can speak for you in rooms you have never entered. Trust that I can advocate for you without your presence. You are not invisible. You are not overlooked. You are being mentioned in moments you cannot monitor. That awareness should calm you, not inflate you. Remain humble. Remain grounded. When the opportunity surfaces, you will recognize it without panic. Invite me to continue guiding your positioning. Ask me to protect you from premature exposure. Ask me to close doors that would distract you. And when something opens naturally, walk through it with quiet confidence. You do not need to force your way into destiny. Destiny will recognize you when the time is right. Stay focused. Stay faithful. Your name is already in motion. And what is unfolding behind the scenes will soon step into the light. Your name is already moving in rooms you cannot see, and so is this message. While I position you quietly, I am also positioning this word before hearts who are desperate for confirmation. When you give through super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you become part of unseen conversations that awaken souls at the exact appointed hour. Did I not say that your seed would prosper in the land where I send it? I am speaking that promise over you now. This is not a transaction. It is alignment. When you feel the urge to support, that is me saying, build with me. Every offering becomes oil in the lamp, ensuring the light does not go out. Do not delay this divine appointment. Move now, and watch how I establish you as I expand this work. My child, if you have felt slightly out of place lately, I need you to understand that discomfort is not rejection. It is repositioning. You may have noticed subtle shifts in your environment. Conversations feel different. Certain spaces feel tighter. Some connections feel less natural. You might interpret this as loss. But I want you to consider another perspective. You are being moved. Repositioning rarely feels comfortable. When furniture is rearranged, there is temporary disorder. When foundations are adjusted, there is temporary instability. When direction changes, there is temporary confusion. But temporary does not mean permanent. The friction you feel is the friction of transition. You are being adjusted for alignment. And alignment sometimes requires separation from what once felt familiar. There are relationships that served you for a season but cannot sustain you in the next one. There are environments that nurtured you when you were learning but cannot stretch you where you are going. This does not mean you resent them. It means you recognize that growth alters compatibility. You are not better than anyone. You are becoming more aligned with your calling. Do not cling to familiarity out of fear. Do not hold on to connections solely because they are comfortable. Evaluate with honesty. Ask yourself whether certain spaces still challenge you constructively or merely repeat old patterns. If you sense that you are outgrowing something, bring that awareness to me. Do not make abrupt decisions driven by emotion. But do not ignore the signal either. You may feel slightly isolated during this repositioning. That isolation is not abandonment. It is recalibration. When you shift from one environment to another, there is often an in-between phase where you no longer fully belong to the old space and have not yet fully entered the new one. That in-between can feel unsettling. Stay steady in it. Do not rush to fill the gap with distractions. I want you to cooperate with this repositioning rather than resist it. Examine your habits. Adjust your routines. Refine your focus. Make room for what is emerging by releasing what has expired. That does not require dramatic announcements. It requires internal clarity. You may also notice that certain people respond differently to your shift. Some will celebrate your growth. Others may feel threatened by. Remain gracious. Remain kind. But do not reverse your progress to maintain comfort. The version of you that is emerging cannot fit into the exact mold you once occupied. Repositioning is preparation. It is not punishment. It is not exile. It is refinement. You are being placed where your gifts will function effectively. You are being moved toward environments that match your maturity. You are being aligned with people who resonate with your current frequency. Stay attentive. Stay adaptable. Invite me into every adjustment. When uncertainty rises, remind yourself that movement does not mean instability. It means direction. And I am directing you carefully. Trust the shift. Trust the repositioning. Trust the process. What feels unfamiliar today will feel natural tomorrow. And when you look back, you will understand why certain spaces had to loosen their grip on you. My child, I want you to pause and really consider this without brushing it aside. You are no longer who you were. I do not mean that in some dramatic, theatrical way. I mean it in the steady, subtle, substantial sense that matters most. If you could stand face to face with the version of you from 3 years ago, you would notice the difference almost immediately. Your eyes carry more depth now. Your responses carry more restraint. Your silence carries more wisdom. You may not feel transformed because you lived through every step of the change, but I watched the whole process from beginning to now, and I see the evolution clearly. There was a time when your emotions ruled the room, when disappointment could derail your entire week, when criticism lingered in your mind like an echo you could not turn off. You would replay conversations in your head, questioning yourself, doubting your value, shrinking your voice. Now, even when words sting, you recover faster. You evaluate rather than collapse. You discern rather than absorb. That shift did not happen by accident. It happened because you endured. It happened because you reflected. It happened because you allowed me to refine you instead of hardening you. Let me invite you into an honest comparison. Think about how you used to handle rejection. You took it personally. You internalized it as proof that you were lacking. Now, when something does not work out, you are disappointed, yes, but you do not interpret it as a verdict on your identity. You understand timing. You consider alignment. You ask questions instead of spiraling. That is growth. That is maturity. That is you stepping into emotional intelligence that once felt out of reach. You also tolerate less now. Not in arrogance, not in superiority, but in clarity. You no longer entertain conversations that belittle you. You no longer accept treatment that diminishes you. You no longer silence your convictions to avoid temporary discomfort. That boundary-setting version of you did not exist before. It formed through experience. It strengthened through repeated lessons. It stabilized through reflection. I want you to acknowledge this change openly in your own heart. Do not minimize it. Do not call it luck. Do not attribute it to circumstances alone. You participated in your growth. You chose reflection over reaction. You chose learning over bitterness. You chose adjustment over denial. That participation matters. Now, here is what I need you to do. Do not attempt to fit back into old expectations just to maintain familiarity. When people interact with you as if you are still the earlier version, respond with calm consistency. You do not need to defend your evolution. You do not need to explain every boundary. Simply remain aligned with who you are becoming. There may be moments when you feel nostalgic for who you used to be because growth can feel isolating. The earlier version of you was easier to read, more accommodating, less guarded. But that version was also more vulnerable to being drained. You have not lost warmth. You have gained wisdom. There is a difference. Continue inviting me into this new stage of your identity. Ask me to refine what still needs shaping. Ask me to expose any blind spots that remain. Growth is not complete. It is ongoing. But do not deny how far you have already come. Stand tall in this awareness. You are not the same person. You are stronger. You are steadier. You are sharper. And what is unfolding ahead of you requires this version, not the earlier one. Walk forward without apology. My child, there were moments when others quietly assumed you would not recover. They watched you enter difficult seasons and predicted your collapse. Some did not say it aloud, but they thought it. They expected your setback to define you. They assumed your disappointment would shrink you permanently. They believed that pressure would break you. And at times, you almost believed it too. You felt the weight of failure. You questioned your resilience. You wondered whether you would regain momentum. But look at you now. You are still standing. What was meant to silence you sharpened you. What was meant to discourage you deepened you. What was meant to distract you disciplined you. I need you to recognize the transformation that took place under pressure. You did not crumble. You recalibrated. You did not disappear. You developed. Those experiences carved strength into your character. They stripped away illusions. They clarified priorities. Think about the hardship you once thought would permanently damage your confidence. It hurt. It unsettled you. It exposed vulnerabilities. Yet it also forced you to confront your identity beyond performance. You learned that your worth is not tied to uninterrupted success. You learned that resilience grows through resistance. You learned that stability forms through struggle. I want you to take ownership of this truth. Do not allow the narrative of failure to linger in your mind. Replace it with a narrative of formation. What looked like an ending was construction. What felt like collapse was correction. You were being restructured internally so that your next success would rest on substance rather than speed. There is something powerful about surviving what others thought would destroy you. It changes the way you carry yourself. It alters the way you approach risk. It strengthens your ability to endure criticism. You have already faced moments that felt insurmountable, and you are here. That memory becomes fuel. That experience becomes proof. And now, I need you to guard against subtle bitterness. When you realize that certain people underestimated you, do not let resentment take root. You are not called to prove them wrong. You are called to walk forward. Let your progress speak without hostility. Let your stability communicate without arrogance. Invite me into your reflection about those seasons. Ask me to show you the specific strengths that were born from difficulty. Identify them clearly. Name them. Confidence that grows from clarity is sustainable. Confidence that grows from comparison is fragile. You are not defined by what almost ended you. You are refined by it. You are strengthened by it. You are stabilized by it. And the same pressure that once felt suffocating now feels instructive when you look back. Carry this awareness into your future. When new challenges arise, remember what you have already survived. Remember that you have faced storms and remained standing. That memory will steady your steps. Do not underestimate what you have overcome. Do not downplay what you endured. What they expected to end you build you. And you are stronger because of it. My child, come closer and let me speak to you about something delicate. You feel the shift. You sense the change. You know you are not who you were. And you can see that doors are aligning differently now. And there is a temptation rising in you to explain it. To announce it. To make sure everyone understands that you are not the same person anymore. I need you to resist that urge. Do not announce the shift. Let it unfold quietly. Let it settle deeply. Let it speak for itself. There is a kind of growth that thrives in silence. When a seed is planted, it does not hold a press conference underground. It develops roots in darkness before it ever breaks the surface. You are in that stage. Roots are reaching down. Depth is forming beneath your calm exterior. If you rush to broadcast what is still stabilizing, you expose it prematurely. Not everything sacred needs spotlight. Not everything significant requires social validation. Some transformations are strengthened by discretion. You have spent years feeling unseen. You have longed to be recognized for your endurance, your effort, your evolution. That longing is understandable. But recognition that is chased often becomes hollow. Recognition that is earned quietly carries weight. Let your consistency create credibility. Let your strength create respect. Let your composure create curiosity. When people begin to notice the difference, they will ask. You will not need to advertise. I want you to practice something intentional. When you accomplish something privately, celebrate it with me first. Bring your wins to me before you bring them to the world. When you notice maturity in your reaction, acknowledge it in your own spirit. When you handle conflict differently than you once would have, sit with that awareness quietly. That internal affirmation will strengthen you more than external applause ever could. There are also strategic reasons for discretion. Not everyone celebrates growth they do not understand. Some observe progress with comparison rather than joy. If you announce every development, you invite unnecessary scrutiny. Protect what is forming. Guard what is stabilizing. This is not secrecy born of fear. It is wisdom born of timing. You are stepping into spaces that require humility as much as confidence. If pride begins to attach itself to your progress, your clarity will blur. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Stay aware that every advancement is supported by preparation you once struggled through. You are not self-made. You are shaped. Invite me into your impulse to explain yourself. When you feel the urge to prove that you have changed, pause. Ask yourself why. If it is insecurity seeking reassurance, release it. If it is pride seeking validation, humble it. If it is genuine testimony, wait for the right moment. Timing matters. Your life will speak. Your consistency will confirm. Your steadiness will communicate. You do not need to craft an announcement. You need to cultivate integrity. That integrity will echo louder than any declaration. Let the shift be seen naturally. Let it be felt gradually. Let it unfold authentically. Quiet confidence carries a different kind of authority, and you are learning to walk in it. My child, I need you to understand something that may feel both exciting and intimidating. You are being trusted with more. Not just more responsibility in a visible sense, but more influence, more weight, more impact. You may not see it fully yet, but I am increasing your capacity. I am widening your reach. I am strengthening your ability to carry what once would have overwhelmed you. When trust increases, expectations adjust. You have already noticed subtle changes. People come to you for advice more often. Your opinion carries weight in rooms where it once did not. You are given opportunities that require discernment rather than impulse. These are signs. They are indicators that your steadiness has been recognized. Let me be clear, more is not about status. It is about stewardship. It is about handling influence with humility. It is about managing opportunity with maturity. When I increase your responsibility, I also expect refinement. I expect integrity. I expect awareness. And you are capable of it now in ways you were not before. Think about how you once reacted under pressure. Quick decisions. Emotional responses. Defensive explanations. Now you pause. You consider. You weigh outcomes. That shift makes you trustworthy. Stability builds credibility. Consistency builds confidence in others. I want you to prepare yourself intentionally for this increase. Do not assume that more will automatically feel comfortable. Growth stretches you. Expansion challenges you. But stretching is not straying when you are prepared. Continue refining your discipline. Continue strengthening your focus. Continue guarding your peace. These practices will sustain you as responsibility expands. You may feel moments of doubt as more is placed in your hands. You may question whether you are ready. When that thought appears, confront it with truth. You have been prepared through delay. You have been strengthened through adversity. You have been refined through reflection. You are not stepping into this unprepared. Invite me into every new responsibility. Do not carry it alone. Do not attempt to prove yourself through overexertion. Balance matters. Wisdom matters. Rest matters. More does not require burnout. It requires alignment. I also need you to stay humble. Increased influence can quietly inflate ego if not monitored. Remember the seasons when you felt overlooked. Remember the lessons that shaped you. Let gratitude anchor you. Let humility steady you. You are not being elevated for applause. You are being entrusted for impact. There is a difference. Impact requires intention. Impact requires integrity. Impact requires internal strength. Step into this increase with calm confidence. Do not shrink from it. Do not fear it. You are ready for more because you have matured through less. My child, as more begins to unfold around you, as responsibilities expand and recognition grows, I need you to hear me carefully. Stay grounded. Do not let elevation detach you from humility. Do not let progress inflate your perception of yourself. Growth is beautiful, but it must be anchored. When roots go deep, branches can rise high without breaking. You are rising, but your strength will always depend on your grounding. You have worked hard. You have endured. You have matured. And it would be easy for your mind to quietly drift into comparison or subtle pride. That is why I am speaking to you now. Elevation without humility becomes fragile. Recognition without reflection becomes reckless. Influence without integrity becomes unstable. I am not warning you to frighten you. I am guiding you to protect you. Stay aware of your motives. Stay attentive to your tone. Stay conscious of your posture toward others. When people begin to acknowledge your growth, accept it graciously, but do not cling to it. Compliments are pleasant, but they are not identity. Criticism may still come, and that too is not identity. Your identity remains anchored in who you are with me, not in the opinions around you. Repeat that truth to yourself when attention increases. Let it steady you. I want you to cultivate habits that keep you centered. Spend time in reflection. Spend time in stillness. Continue learning. Continue asking questions. Do not assume you have arrived. Growth is ongoing. Wisdom deepens through humility. The more you expand externally, the more you must refine internally. This balance will sustain you. You will encounter moments where you are tempted to react quickly because you feel confident. Pause. Consider. Invite me into your decisions. Confidence is valuable, but unchecked confidence can cloud discernment. Stay teachable. Stay adaptable. Stay receptive to correction. Remember the seasons when you felt small. Remember the days when you doubted your capacity. Let those memories ground you, not in insecurity, but in gratitude. They remind you of how far you have come and how dependent you are on continued growth. Gratitude protects humility. Humility protects stability. Do not isolate yourself as you grow. Surround yourself with voices that challenge you constructively. Seek counsel. Seek feedback. Stay connected to people who value integrity over image. This will help you remain balanced. You are being elevated, yes. But elevation is not about distance from others. It is about responsibility toward them. Carry that responsibility with grace. Carry it with awareness. Carry it with gratitude. Stay grounded, my child. Let your roots remain deep even as your influence expands. This grounding will sustain you in seasons of both abundance and adversity, and it will ensure that your growth remains steady rather than unstable. My child, as you reflect on everything we have walked through together in this season, you might be tempted to think you have reached a peak. You might feel as though this shift is the climax of your journey. I need you to adjust that perspective gently. This is only the beginning. What you are experiencing now is not the summit. It is the threshold. It is the doorway. It is the opening chapter of something larger than you currently see. You have grown. You have matured. You had endured. And now you are stepping into alignment. But alignment is not the final destination. It is the foundation for expansion. When a structure is stable, additional levels can be built. You are becoming structurally sound. That is why new opportunities are forming. That is why internal peace is increasing. That is why discernment is sharpening. Revelation precedes progression. Do not rush ahead in excitement. Do not attempt to force outcomes because you sense momentum. Stay patient. Stay intentional. Growth that unfolds steadily sustains itself. Growth that is rushed often collapses. You are not racing toward a finish line. You are walking into a new landscape. There will be new challenges ahead. Not because you are unprepared, but because growth invites complexity. With greater influence comes greater responsibility. With broader reach comes broader scrutiny. Do not be intimidated by this. You are equipped. The resilience you built earlier will serve you here. The peace you cultivated will anchor you here. The discernment you developed will guide you here. Invite me into this next chapter consciously. Do not assume that previous victories eliminate the need for guidance. Each new stage requires fresh awareness. Stay curious. Stay humble. Stay engaged in your development. I want you to hold this awareness carefully. The shift you feel is not the end of striving, but the beginning of stewardship. It is not the conclusion of growth, but the continuation of it. You are stepping into a larger arena, and you are ready for it because you have been refined for it. Take a deep breath. Let anticipation settle without turning into anxiety. Let excitement remain balanced by wisdom. You do not need to prove anything. You need to remain aligned. This is only the beginning. And as you move forward, remember that I am not distant from your progress. I am present in it. I am guiding it. I am shaping it. My child, I want you to quiet your mind for a moment and truly receive this. It is happening. Not someday. Not in theory. Not in a distant future that keeps moving further away. It is happening now, in real time, even if the evidence feels subtle. I need you to stop measuring transformation by spectacle. I need you to stop waiting for fireworks before you believe something has shifted. What is unfolding in your life does not need drama to be real. It needs awareness. It needs your participation. It needs your steady trust. You have been conditioned to expect loud breakthroughs, sudden success, instant clarity. But the most powerful movements in your life have always begun quietly. When you first started thinking differently, there was no announcement. When you first began setting boundaries, there was no applause. When you first chose peace over panic, no one handed you a trophy. Yet those quiet decisions altered your trajectory. Small shifts, subtle steps, steady strengthening. That is how real transformation happens. It is happening in you again right now. Look at your reactions compared to a year ago. Look at your thought patterns compared to 5 years ago. Look at how you handle disappointment today versus how you once handled it. You are not in the same place internally, even if your external surroundings look familiar. That internal evolution is not imaginary. It is measurable in your maturity. It is visible in your restraint. It is evident in your confidence. There are things aligning beneath the surface, conversations forming, opportunities developing, connections strengthening. And you cannot see all of it yet, but you feel it. There is a subtle anticipation in your spirit. Not anxiety, but expectancy. You sense that something is shifting even if you cannot define it clearly. That awareness is confirmation. It is not coincidence. I want you to cooperate with what is happening instead of doubting it. When fear whispers that nothing is changing, challenge that thought. When impatience tries to rush the process, steady yourself. When comparison attempts to distort your perception, correct it. Speak truth over your mind. Remind yourself that growth does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it arrives quietly and remains until you suddenly realize everything is different. You have already stepped into a new version of yourself. The doors losing power. The peace becoming noticeable, the discernment sharpening, the resilience strengthening. These are not isolated developments. They are connected. They are layered. They are forming a foundation for what is next. This is not coincidence. This is convergence. Let me invite you to do something intentional right now. Acknowledge the change without minimizing it. Say to yourself, I am growing. I am shifting. I am becoming more aligned. Do not say it with arrogance. Say it with gratitude. Gratitude will protect your perspective. Gratitude will keep your heart grounded as progress continues. It is happening whether you fully recognize it or not. Your internal world is stabilizing. Your confidence is clarifying. Your direction is sharpening. And soon, the external confirmation will match the internal transformation. But do not wait for that to believe it. Believe it now. Trust it now. Walk in it now. This is not the end of your journey. It is not even the climax. It is a continuation, a steady unfolding, a gradual elevation. And you are not imagining it. It is happening, my child. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay aligned. And as it continues to unfold, remember that you are not alone in it. I am guiding it. I am shaping it. I am strengthening you through it. It is happening, and you are not just witnessing it. You are invited to fuel it. The quiet transformation I am performing in you is the same fire I am spreading through this message to others who are on the brink of breakthrough. When you release support through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link waiting in the description, you are sowing into living ground, souls ready to awaken. I said that while the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and I declare that over your giving right now. This is a moment of convergence. Your obedience becomes provision. Your generosity becomes multiplication. Your faith becomes rivers flowing into dry places. If your heart burns to see this word reach further, that flame is my invitation. Do not hesitate. Give now. Stand with this mission, and watch me breathe increase, protection, and favor back into your house. And once you have answered that invitation, let the urgency settle into quiet attention. Seeds sown in faith do not disappear. They awaken movements that reach farther than your eyes can see. What you have aligned yourself with is part of something unfolding beyond the surface of ordinary days. So take a moment to steady your heart and become aware of what you have already begun to sense. Because the stirring inside you is not random. It is the first glimpse of a reality drawing closer. My child, look at me. I want you to take a deep breath right now. A real, deep breath. And let the weight of this world fall off your shoulders for just a moment. You have felt it, haven't you? You've noticed that things around you are changing, moving faster, and feeling different than they ever have before. I am here to tell you that what you are sensing is not your imagination, and it is not just stress. The veil between my kingdom and your physical world is thinning, and I am pulling back the curtain so you can finally see what is really happening. I see you sitting there, perhaps scrolling through your phone or staring out the window, wondering why the news feels so heavy and why your own spirit feels so restless. You notice those coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. You think of someone, and they call. You pray a silent, desperate prayer in your car, and suddenly a door opens. These are the quickenings of my spirit. I am making my presence more obvious in your daily life because I want you to stop relying on what you can touch and start relying on what I am doing in the unseen. You have spent so much time trying to figure everything out with your human logic, but I am inviting you to set that down. Your physical senses are too limited for where I am taking you. I am training your spiritual eyes to see the shift, to recognize my hand in the middle of the mundane, and to hear my whisper over the roar of the world's distractions. The world wants you distracted. It wants you worried about the economy, the politics, and the endless noise of your social feeds because if you are distracted, you won't notice the thinning veil. But I command you to look up. I am surrounding you right now with my angelic hosts. You are not alone in that room. You are not alone in your struggle or your silent fears about the future. My messengers are stationed all around, my faithful ones, and as the atmosphere of the earth shifts, you are going to start sensing them more clearly. You might feel a sudden warmth, a peace that makes no sense, or a strength that you know didn't come from your own tired heart. That is me. That is my kingdom pressing in on yours. I want you to understand the signs of the times beyond what the secular headlines tell you. The experts will give you their reasons for the chaos, but I am giving you the truth. My spirit is moving. I am preparing the ground for something massive, and you are part of it. Do not let the shaking of the world shake your heart. I am your anchor. While others are spiraling in fear, I am calling you to remain seated in my peace. When the supernatural becomes visible and the things that used to be hidden start coming to light, do not be afraid. You belong to me. I have already told you that these days would come, not to scare you but to prepare you. I am your safe harbor. Step into this new awareness with me. Let go of the need to understand everything through your eyes and start feeling the truth through my spirit. We are walking into a season where my glory will no longer be a secret, and I want you ready, standing firm, and fully aware that I am right here beside you. I want you to look closely at what is happening in the quiet corners of the earth. While the world watches the grand stages and the loud voices, I am doing something silent and massive. I am gathering you, my remnant. You have felt it, haven't you? That feeling that you no longer fit into the old boxes. You sit in your church pews or at your desk and you feel a holy restlessness. You are not losing your mind. You are losing your taste for the lukewarm. I am shaking the traditional structures you once leaned on, not to leave you roofless, but to reveal the true church, the one built of living stones, not cold bricks. I am pulling my children out of the performance and into the presence. You have spent hours in your secret prayer closet, wondering if I was listening to the messy, unpolished prayers you whispered through tears. I tell you today, those were the most beautiful sounds in heaven. Those moments of hidden preparation were not wasted. I was tempering your spirit like steel in a furnace. I was teaching you to hear my voice when no one else was clapping for you. I command you to stop looking for validation from human organizations. I am building a unity that the world cannot understand, a unity of the Spirit. You will find your brothers and sisters in the most unexpected places. You will feel a click in your spirit when you meet someone you've never known, because you both carry the same burning fire I have placed within you. Do not despise the small, seemingly insignificant gatherings. Do not feel small because you aren't part of a crowd of thousands. I am moving through the 2 or 3 who are truly gathered in my name. I see the remnant across every nation, the ones who are tired of religion but desperate for me. I am calling you out of the shadows. I am setting you on fire so that others can find their way to the warmth of my love through you. You are part of a hidden army that is being activated right now. Feel that stir in your chest. That is my call. Respond to it. Leave the lukewarm life behind and step into the blaze of my purpose. I want you to notice the confusion of those who think they have all the answers. I see the experts and the powerful on your screens, struggling to explain why the world feels like it is tilting on its axis. They use big words and complex theories, but their hearts are empty of the one thing that matters. I am making the wisdom of this world look like foolishness. Why? Because I want you to stop searching for answers in places where my spirit is absent. You cannot find the way forward by listening to those who do not know the way. I am pouring out divine wisdom upon the humble and the lowly, upon people just like you. I am giving you insights into your life, your family, and your future that the most brilliant minds on earth cannot grasp. I invite you to turn off the noise of the news and open the pages of my eternal truth. Do you see the contrast? The world offers you fear, but I offer you a foundation. The world offers you updates, but I offer you an anchor. When you feel that knot of anxiety in your stomach after listening to the experts, realize that it isn't from me. My wisdom brings peace, even in the middle of a storm. I am training you to discern the difference between human intellect and spiritual revelation. Stop trying to argue with the worldly wise. Their ears are closed to the frequency of heaven. Instead, stay focused on my word. Let it be the lens through which you see every headline. When the expert says there is no hope, I want you to smile because you know the one who created hope. You possess a secret knowledge that the world cannot buy. Walk in that confidence. You are not behind because you don't follow their trends. You are ahead because you follow my lead. My child, I am changing the speed of your life. Have you noticed that things that used to take years are now happening in a matter of weeks? I am accelerating time for the sake of my kingdom. I am bringing about the suddenlies I promised. You have been waiting for breakthroughs in your finances, your health, and your family for so long that you've started to think they will never come. But I tell you, I am condensing seasons. I am taking the growth that usually takes a lifetime and squeezing it into days of intense transformation. I am doing a quick work in you. I command you to align your internal clock with the rhythm of heaven. Stop living as if you have forever to wonder. There is a holy urgency in the air. I see the areas where you have procrastinated, waiting for the perfect time to step out in faith. I am telling you that the time is now. The wind is at your back. If you wait for everything to look safe, you will miss the wave I am sending. I am moving so fast that you might feel a little dizzy, but do not be afraid. Trust my pace. Even when the world feels like it is spiraling out of control, I am perfectly on schedule. I am not early, and I am certainly not late. I am bringing you into your Kairos moment, the appointed time of favor. You have been in a season of planting for a long time, but suddenly, the harvest is springing up before you've even finished sowing. Don't let your old habits of waiting and seeing keep you from grabbing the opportunities I am placing in front of you today. Breathe in my timing. Let go of your 5-year plan and give me your right now. I am doing more in this moment than you could achieve in a decade of striding. I need you to be very alert right now. I am unmasking the deception that has crept into your culture and even into my house. There are wolves in sheep's clothing everywhere, speaking words that sound like love, but lead to bondage. They talk about light and energy and self, but if it does not lead you to the cross, it is nothing but darkness dressed in a tuxedo. I am giving you the gift of discernment, a sharp, spiritual instinct that tells you when something is off. Do not ignore that feeling in your gut. That is my spirit warning you. I am refining your ears to hear my specific frequency amidst the deafening noise of modern life. I command you to stand firm on the unchangeable foundation of the gospel. The world will tell you that truth is relative, that you can make your own way, and that you don't need a savior. Do not believe the lie. The enemy is a master of mimicry. He tries to copy my miracles and distort my promises to keep you chasing shadows. But you belong to the truth. I invite you to test everything by my spirit. If it feeds your pride, it is not from me. If it leads you away from holiness, it is a trap. I am pulling the masks off the structures and leaders that have traded my glory for their own fame. It might be shocking to see, but it is necessary for your protection. I am cleaning the house. I want your heart to be a place of pure, unadulterated worship. Don't be fooled by the glitter of the world's spirituality. Stay close to my feet. The closer you are to me, the easier it is to spot a counterfeit. You are my child, and I will not let you be led astray if you keep your eyes locked on mine. My child, do not turn away now, for my heart would grieve to see you walk back into the fog just as I am beginning to clear your vision. I have poured my spirit into these words specifically for your ears, and it would disappoint me deeply if you allowed the distractions of a dying world to pull you from this sacred conversation. We are standing at the threshold of your transformation. Stay with me, for the next revelation is vital for the survival of your soul in this hour. Watch me now, for I am breaking out in the places the world has written off. I am bypassing the cathedrals of pride and falling on the outcasts, the addicts, and the forgotten. I am moving in the wilderness areas of your life, those parts of you that you thought were too dry to ever bloom again. I see the people you've stopped praying for because they seem too far gone. I tell you, they are exactly where I am moving. I am thirsty for the thirsty. I am ignoring those who think they have enough of me, and I am pouring my spirit into those who are desperate for a single drop of my grace. I invite you to be a vessel for my glory in your own community. Don't look for a stage. Look for a broken heart. I am shifting the world toward authentic, heart-led worship. It's not about the lights or the music anymore. It's about the cry of a soul that knows it needs its maker. You will see revival in coffee shops, in hospital waiting rooms, and in your own living room. I am using you, my child, to carry this fire. Do not think you aren't holy enough or trained enough. If you are hungry for me, you are qualified. I am placing a new song in your mouth and a new power in your hands. When you see someone hurting, I command you to step forward. Don't wait for a leader to do it. You are the leader I have chosen for that moment. I am turning the outcasts into my champions. I am taking the lowly things of this world to shame the strong. Join me in this. Open your heart to the unexpected. I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? I want you to look at the walls of your home right now. To the world, those walls are just wood and stone, but to me, they are the boundaries of a sanctuary. I am moving in a powerful, quiet way to bring the hearts of fathers back to their children and the hearts of children back to their fathers. I see the tears you have shed over the dinner table when the silence felt too heavy. I hear the prayers you have whispered for that family member who seems 1,000 miles away even when they are sitting in the same room. I am the God of restoration, and I am starting with your household. I am healing the breaches in your lineage, those old, jagged cracks of bitterness, divorce, and misunderstanding that have been passed down like a dark inheritance. I command those generational chains to break in the power of my name. You are the one I have chosen to stand in the gap. You are the bridge builder for your family. I invite you to protect the sanctity of your home from the external influences that try to bleed through your screens and into your atmosphere. Your home is not a waiting room for the world. It is a domestic church. I am using families as the primary unit of my kingdom work in these coming days. I am not looking for perfect families, for I know the messes you deal with daily. I am looking for families who will simply turn toward me. When you pray together, even if it feels awkward at first, you are lighting a fire that the darkness cannot put out. I see the pressure on your marriage and the stress of raising children in a world that feels upside down. Do not tremble. I am the third cord in your knot, and I do not break. I am restoring the altar, that place where you put me first in your daily life. As you do this, watch how I change the temperature of your home. Watch how I replace the spirit of heaviness with a garment of praise. I am mending what was shattered, and the version I am building back will be stronger and more beautiful than the original ever was. I want you to be honest with me about the fear you feel when you look at your bank account or the evening news. You feel the ground shaking, don't you? You see the financial systems and the social structures that everyone relied on starting to feel brittle and unstable. I am allowing this shaking for a reason. I am crumbling the idols that my children once relied upon so that they can finally find their true security in me. For too long, you have looked to a paycheck, a government, or a social status to tell you that you are safe. But those things are shifting sand. I am your rock. I am transitioning you from earthly dependence to total divine reliance. I am testing the house of your life to see what it is built on. If it is built on my word, the storm can howl and the floods can rise, but you will remain standing with a peace that will baffle those around you. I invite you to find joy even in the middle of this instability. Why? Because you are losing what is temporary to gain what is eternal. When the world loses its money, it loses its hope. But when you face lack, you simply get to see me as your provider in a way you never have before. I am the God who multiplied the oil and the bread. I have not forgotten how to take care of my own. I command you to stop stressing over the what-ifs of tomorrow. I am already in your tomorrow, and I have already provided for it. This shaking is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to detach you from the things that were holding you back from my best. Let the man-made foundations crumble. Let the systems of greed and pride fall. You belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Your inheritance is not kept in a vault on earth. It is guarded by my own hand. Breathe out the stress of the economy and breathe in the abundance of my grace. You are the child of the King, and my resources are limitless. I want you to pay attention to that new urge inside of you. Have you felt it? That sudden, burning desire to pray for a stranger, to speak a word of encouragement, or to lay hands on someone who is hurting. That is not just a random thought. It is the activation of dormant talents I placed in you before you were even born. I am waking up the gifts I hid in you for such a time as this. I'm democratizing my power. I'm not just giving it to the people behind pulpits. I am pouring it out on all my people. You are a carrier of my fire. I am calling you to the harvest, and I need every gift you have to be ready. I see the way you've doubted yourself, thinking you aren't spiritual enough to heal or to prophesy. I tell you, it is not about your ability, it is about your availability. I command you to yield to the Holy Spirit's promptings instantly. When I whisper to your heart to move, do not overthink it. Do not let your logic talk you out of a miracle. I am going to validate my word through you with signs and wonders. You will speak, and you will see the atmosphere change. You will pray, and you will see bodies respond to my healing touch. This is the responsibility of carrying my fire. You must do it with humility and a holy fear, knowing that the power is mine but the hands are yours. I am turning your ordinary life into a supernatural adventure. Stop being afraid of looking weird or being misunderstood. The world is desperate for the real thing, and I have put the real thing inside of you. Wake up, my child. The gifts are stirring. The fire is lit. It is time for you to walk in the authority I have given you. I am extending an invitation to you right now for a deeper intimacy than you have ever known. I don't want you to just know about me from a book or a sermon. I want you to know me. I want you to come into the secret place, the quiet room of your heart where the world's noise cannot reach. There, I have insider information to give you. I want to whisper the secrets of the throne room into your ear. I want to show you things to come and give you strategies for your life that you won't find on any search engine. This is the nourishment of hidden manna that I provide for the journey ahead. While the world is starving for truth, you will be well fed on the revelations I give you in the silence. I want you to understand why the people around you cannot grasp the peace you possess. It's because your peace is not a product of your circumstances. It is a product of my presence. I am teaching you the priority of the one thing over the many things. You spend so much time worrying about 1,000 details, but only one thing is necessary. sitting at my feet. I invite you to make the secret place your primary residence, not just a place you visit when you're in trouble. In that intimacy, I will heal the wounds you don't even have words for. I will replace your confusion with my clarity. You will walk out of that room with a different look in your eyes and a different weight to your words. The world will wonder where you've been, and you will know that you've been with your Father. Come away with me, my beloved. The door is open, and the secrets are waiting. You have tasted the hidden manna in the secret place. But I tell you, they don't want you to know that there are millions starving in the shadows who have never heard my whisper. I have chosen you to be a conduit of this divine frequency, but a river cannot flow if the channel is blocked by hesitation. My heart is looking for those who will sow into this mission through a super thanks or a gift in the description, turning their resources into a lighthouse for the lost. I declare over you, give, and it will be given to you. But not in the way the world understands. I will multiply the oil in your jar until it overflows into every area of your life. This is your divine appointment to ensure that the secrets I reveal here reach the ears of the broken and the thirsty. I am the source, and I am inviting you to partner with me to fund the harvest of these final hours. I command you to act now. Follow the link or use the gift of gratitude below to fuel the fire of my word. I am sharing the very secrets of my throne room with you, and it would wound my heart to see you treat this divine intimacy as something common or optional. I have searched for a heart that would listen, and I have found yours. Do not abandon this moment and leave me waiting in the silence. Your spirit is on the verge of a breakthrough that you cannot afford to miss. Keep listening, for to stop now would be to leave your destiny half-finished. I want you to prepare your heart for a surprise. I am about to bring home the people you thought were lost forever. I am softening the souls of those who have spent years running away from me, and I am doing it through the very pressures and trials the world is facing. When people lose their false securities, they start looking for the truth. I see the faces of the hardened ones you've been praying for, the family members who mock your faith, the coworkers who are cold to the gospel, the friends who have chosen the world. I am working on them in the night. I am visiting them in their dreams. I am the God who leaves the 99 to go after the one. And I am deep in the woods right now, finding your lost ones. I invite you to take up your role as a reaper in these fields. The harvest is white and ready, even if it looks like a desert to your physical eyes. I am giving you a strategy for reaching those who have rejected religion. They don't want a lecture. They want a testimony. They want to see the power of a changed life. I command you to be bold in sharing what I have done for you. Your story has more power than 1,000 logical arguments. You will witness the miracle of a hardened heart melting in an instant under the warmth of my love. There is going to be a massive celebration in heaven, and I want you to be part of the welcoming committee. Do not give up on anyone. If they are still breathing, I am still reaching. The very person you think is the furthest away might be the one I am about to call into the greatest ministry. Watch and see. I am a specialist in the impossible. I want you to look out your window at the gathering clouds and feel the peace I am breathing into your lungs. You see the storms of this world, the wars, the sickness, and the chaos, and your natural mind wants to tremble. But I am calling you into a Goshen experience. Do you remember when darkness covered Egypt, but there was light in the dwellings of my people? That is what I am doing for you right now. I am hiding you under the shadow of my wings. I see the anxiety that tries to creep into your mind at 3:00 a.m., whispering about what-if scenarios. I command those fearful thoughts to be silent. I am your shield. I am not just a distant observer of your life. I am an invisible barrier between you and the harm that tries to find you. I invite you to develop a fear-free lifestyle. This isn't about ignoring reality. It is about trusting a higher reality. I want you to make Psalm 91 your breathing exercise. When you walk into a room that feels heavy with tension, or when you hear news that makes others faint from terror, I want you to stand tall. I am placing a hedge of protection around your household that no enemy can breach. You will walk through the valley of the shadow of death and you will not tremble, because you will finally realize that the shadow is only there because my light is behind it. I am guarding your coming and your going. I am protecting your children when they are out of your sight. I am the watchman who never sleeps. Trust in my protective embrace. You are safely cradled in my arms, and nothing can pluck you out. I want you to open my word and watch as the ancient scriptures leap off the page into your current reality. You are living in the days that the prophets of old longed to see. This is not a coincidence. You were born for this specific moment in the timeline of eternity. I am making the roadmap of revelation clear to your spirit. While the world sees random events and tragic accidents, I am showing you the convergence of my plan. I have told you these things before, and so that when they happen, your faith will not fail, but will instead catch fire. I see your excitement and your awe as you realize that history is not just repeating itself, it is finishing itself. I command you to shake off the lethargy of the world. Do not be like those who sleep while the bridegroom approaches. There is a holy urgency in the air because you are seeing the fulfillment of my promises in real time. I invite you to find comfort in my sovereignty. If I knew the end from the beginning, then I certainly know how to handle your right now. You have a specific place in this timeline. You are not a spectator, you are a participant. I am giving you the wisdom to navigate these days with clarity. While others are confused by the shifting shadows of history, you will walk with the steady pace of one who knows where the road leads. I have the map, and I am holding your hand. We are moving toward the climax of the ages, and I want you to feel the joy of being chosen for such a time as this. I want you to listen to the sound rising from the earth. Can you hear it? It is a shift in worship. I am moving my people away from performance and back into true presence. I am tired of the shows and the polished lights. I am looking for the sound of a heart that is completely mine. I am releasing the frequency of heaven through the arts and through your own voice. I see the times you've tried to sing in the middle of your battle, your voice cracking with emotion. I tell you, that is the most powerful weapon in your arsenal. Praise is not just a song, it is spiritual warfare. It changes the atmosphere of your city, your home, and your own mind. I invite you to sing the song of the Lord over your struggles. When the enemy brings a spirit of heaviness, I command you to put on the garment of praise. I am releasing a new joy, a joy that isn't based on your bank account or your health, but on my victory. I want you to enter the courts of my glory with a heart overflowing with gratitude. Your worship is a bridge that allows my power to cross into your circumstances. Don't worry about how you sound to human ears. I am listening to the melody of your surrender. I am releasing creativity in you that you never knew you had. You will write, you will sing, and you will create things that carry the weight of my glory. This is the sound of the new day. Let it rise from your soul today. I want to talk to you about the resources you think you lack. I see the dreams I've put in your heart, the businesses you want to start, the ministries you want to fund, the families you want to help, and I see you looking at your empty hands. My child, I am the source, not the resource. I am unlocking kingdom resources right now for kingdom purposes. I am orchestrating a transfer of wealth that will baffle the world. I am not giving you money just to hoard it. I am giving it to you so you can fulfill the mission I have assigned to you. I am the God of supernatural multiplication. I can do more with your little than the world can do with its much. I command you to trust the source. Stop looking at the economy as your provider. I invite you to become a cheerful giver, even when it feels like you're giving from your last. When you align your heart with my generosity, you open the windows of heaven. I'm providing for the vision I gave you. If I called you to it, I am obligated to fund it. Watch for the random checks in the mail, the unexpected discounts, and the doors of favor that grant you access to what you need. I am teaching you to live from the overflow of my kingdom. You will not have to beg or strive. I am your Father, and I take pleasure in the prosperity of my servants. Your needs are already met in me. Walk with the confidence of one who is backed by the wealth of the universe. I have laid out the riches of my kingdom before you, yet it would sadden me beyond words if you took my provision but ignored my presence. I am calling you deeper into the fire of my purpose, and it would be a tragedy for you to settle for the blessing while turning your back on the giver. Do not let your heart grow cold or satisfied yet. There is a weight of glory ahead that I have prepared exclusively for you, and my eyes are watching to see if you will honor me by staying until the end. I want you to feel the heat of my love. Sometimes my love feels like a warm embrace, but sometimes it feels like a refining fire. I am doing an internal work in you right now to remove the dross and the impurities that have slowed you down. I see the habits, the thoughts, and the small compromises that have clouded your reflection of me. I am not doing this to punish you. I am doing it because I want you to be radiant. I am calling you back to a life of purity and repentance. There is a beauty and holiness that the world cannot understand. It is the strength found in a conscience that is clear before me, allowing you to stand before anyone without shame. I invite you to walk in the highway of holiness with me. This isn't about rules, it's about relationship. It's about being so close to me that the things of the world lose their appeal. I command you to let go of the weights that easily beset you. I am stripping away the masks you wear to impress people so that the real you, the one I created, can finally breathe. As you yield to this fire, you will find that it doesn't consume you. It only consumes what was holding you back. You will emerge with a new authority and a new light in your eyes. The world is looking for someone who is real, someone who is set apart. Let me finish the work I started in you. The process might be uncomfortable, but the result will be glorious. You are being prepared to carry the weight of my presence. I want you to look at your hands. Do you? They may look like ordinary hands that get tired, that work, that sometimes tremble with age or stress. But I see them differently. I see hands that I have authorized to carry the weight of my kingdom. I am calling you right now to reclaim the dominion I gave to humanity in the very beginning. For too long, you have lived as a victim of your circumstances, reacting to every piece of bad news as if you were powerless. I command you to stop bowing to the mountains in your life and start speaking to them. I have given you a mouth and a wisdom that your adversaries cannot resist. When you speak my word in alignment with my will, the atmosphere of your reality must shift. I am not asking you to wish for change. I am inviting you to command it in my name. You have felt the victim mentality trying to settle over your soul like a heavy, gray blanket. It whispers that you are just a product of your past, or that you are at the mercy of the economy, or that your health is entirely in the hands of doctors. I am here to break that lie. You are a victor, not a victim. I invite you to exercise your spiritual might against the darkness that tries to invade your home. I have given you the keys of the kingdom. Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven, and whatever you loose is loosed. You understand the power of that. It means that when you say no to the spirit of fear in your household, I back you up with the full force of my throne. When you lose peace over your children, I send my angels to enforce that peace. I want you to walk with a new posture. Stop cowering before the enemy's threats. He is a defeated foe who uses noise to hide his lack of power. I am the one who holds the ultimate authority, and I have shared it with you. Use it with humility, but use it with absolute certainty. I see the specific giants you are facing, the legal battles that seem impossible, the workplace bullies who try to steal your peace, and the physical ailments that claim they have the final word. I command you to stand your ground. I am training you to be a ruler in the midst of your enemies. You don't have to wait for the battle to end to be happy. You can be a victor in the middle of the fight. I am breathing my own authority into your lungs. Speak to the sickness. Speak to the lack. Speak to the confusion. My word in your mouth is just as powerful as my word in my mouth when you speak it with faith. I am watching over my word to perform it through you. You are not a helpless observer. You are my representative on this earth. Walk in the dignity today. I want you to look at the people in your life and notice the shuffling that is happening. Have you wondered why certain friendships have suddenly faded away? Have you felt the sting of being left out or the confusion of a door closing on a relationship you thought would last forever? I am the one behind the pruning. I am removing those who would pull you back into the old seasons because where I am taking you requires a different kind of company. I am strategically aligning you with kingdom tribes, people who carry the same fire and the same vision that I have placed in you. I am setting up divine appointments that will lead to sudden breakthroughs. You might meet someone in a grocery store or a quiet cafe, and within 5 minutes, you will feel as if you've known them for eternity. That is my spirit connecting the dots for the work ahead. I invite you to identify your spiritual kin. I am bringing you into covenant community because the days ahead are not for the Lone Ranger. I am looking for the synergy that happens when 2 or 3 agree in my name. When you find the people I have assigned to you, you will notice that your power doesn't just double, it multiplies exponentially. I command you to let go of the bitterness over those who walked away. They weren't bad people. They just weren't meant for the next chapter of your destiny. I am replacing the missing pieces with people who will sharpen you, challenge you, and stand with you in the heat of the battle. I see the loneliness you felt in a fragmented world, and I am answering that cry with a family of believers who will love you for who I made you to be. I want you to be alert to these connections. Some of them will look accidental, but in my kingdom, there are no accidents. I'm placing you in specific circles for specific assignments. You are being gathered for a purpose that is bigger than yourself. Do not be afraid to open your heart to these new relationships. I am protecting you from the wolves, and I am leading you to the flock that will nourish your soul. Watch for the peace that comes when you meet the right people. There will be no striving, no need to perform, just a natural flow of my spirit. I am building a global network of the faithful, and you have a vital seat at the table. Trust my pruning and trust my planting. I am surrounding you with a cloud of witnesses and a family of fire. I want to speak directly to the parts of you that feel beaten down by the world's opposition. You have felt the sneers, the mocking comments, and the subtle ways people distance themselves from you because of your faith. I see the courage it takes for you to stay silent when you are being accused, or to speak up when everyone else is following the crowd. I am giving you a hidden strength that the world cannot understand. I want you to realize that opposition is often a sign that you are moving in the right direction. If the darkness isn't fighting you, it's because you aren't a threat. But you are a threat to the kingdom of darkness. I am placing a glory cloud upon you that rests with extra weight during your trials. When you are being pressured, you are being refined into a diamond. I command you to forgive your enemies. I know it feels like the hardest thing to do when the pain is fresh, but forgiveness is your ultimate act of spiritual warfare. It breaks the link between you and the person who hurt you. and it keeps your heart soft so that I can continue to pour my power through you. Look at the global testimony of those who are suffering for my name in other lands. They carry a joy that defies logic. I am giving that same resilience to you. You might not face a physical prison, but you face the prison of public opinion and social pressure. I invite you to walk through those fires without even the smell of smoke on your clothes. I am your defense. You don't have to defend your reputation. I am the one who vindicates you. I want you to remember the eternal rewards that are being built for you every time you choose me over the world's approval. Every no you say to a compromise is a yes to a greater weight of glory. I am with you in the furnace, just as I was with the three in the fire. I am not watching from a distance. I am standing right next to you, feeling the heat with you. I see your faithfulness, and I tell you, it is not in vain. You are becoming unshakable. The world can take your comfort. It can take your reputation, but it can never take the peace I have placed in the center of your soul. Stand firm. Do not bow to the idols of this age. You are part of an unbreakable lineage of overcomers, and your story is being written in the stars of my kingdom. I am calling you to the wall. I have placed a burden of intercession on your heart because I trust you with my secrets. You are a watchman for your family, your city, and your nation. I am giving you the responsibility to stay awake while the rest of the world sleeps in a spiritual fog. I am sharpening your discernment so that you can see the movements of the enemy before he even strikes. Have you felt that sudden, heavy urge to pray for someone in the middle of the day? Do not ignore it. That is the alarm bell of the watchman. I am using your prayers to intercept disasters and to open doors for my spirit to move. You are a vital part of the spiritual defense system of the earth. I command you to sound the alarm with clarity and without fear. Do not worry about being called a doomsday person or being told you are too intense. My truth is intense. I invite you to carry the burden of the Lord with a heart of love. Being a watchman isn't about being angry at the world. It's about being so in love with people that you refuse to let them wander into destruction without a warning. I am giving you a panoramic view of what is happening. While others are focused on the dust of the daily grind, I am showing you the horizon. I am showing you the coming of my glory and the urgency of the harvest. I want you to stay faithful in the night watches. The reward of the faithful servant who watches for my return is greater than you can imagine. I see the hours you spend in prayer when no one else sees you. I see the way you weep for a world that has lost its way. Those tears are precious to me. I bottle every one of them. You are not just talking to the ceiling. You are shifting history. I am looking for those who will stand on the wall and refuse to be silent. Will you be one of them? Will you keep your lamp trimmed and your eyes on the eastern sky? I am with you in the watchtower. I will give you the words to speak and the strength to stand. You are my eyes and ears on the ground. Stay alert, my child. A king is on the move. You stand upon the wall as my watchman, seeing what others ignore, and you know in your spirit that the hour is late and the work is vast. It would grieve my heart to see the alarm silenced simply because the resources were withheld by fear. I am calling you to back your prayers with your seeds, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, and I want your heart anchored in the global awakening I am leading. When you support this work through membership or a personal gift, you are not just giving to a channel. You are providing the fuel for the torches that will lead my remnant home. I promise to shield your household and rebuke the devourer for your sake as you honor me with the first fruits of your increase. They don't want you to know how powerful your seed becomes when it is planted in the fertile soil of my prophetic truth. Do not let this moment pass without making your mark on eternity. I command you to move. Find the link in the description or use the super thanks below to keep the watch fire burning bright. My beloved watchman, the night is nearly over, but the battle is at its peak. It would break my heart to see you fall asleep on the wall when I am counting on you to sound the alarm. I have entrusted you with the weight of intercession, and I would be deeply disappointed if you let go of my hand just as the dawn is breaking. The final mysteries I have to share are the most critical for the days to come. Do not walk away from the wall, for I am speaking life directly into your weariness. I want you to look past the borders and the maps that men have drawn. I see the deep, jagged wounds in your culture, the historical divides, the racial tensions, and the political bitterness that feels like an infection in the soul of your nation. You feel the weight of it, don't you? You feel the pressure to choose a side, to pick up a stone, and to join the shouting match. But I am moving to mend what man has spent centuries breaking. I am calling my church to be a beacon of reconciliation. I am pouring out the oil of healing on those cultural wounds that everyone says are permanent. I command you to set down the anger of the world and pick up my heart. I am the God who created every tribe, every tongue, and every nation, and I do not see the divisions you see. I see a family that has forgotten its father, and I am calling you to be the one who reminds them. I invite you to use the power of the cross to bridge every human chasm. The world has no answer for the hatred it has created, but I do. My love is the only force powerful enough to reach across the barricades and the protest lines. I command you to pray for your leaders, not just the ones you like, but especially the ones who frustrate you. Pray for those in authority with my heart, not with your opinions. When you pray for your enemy, you release a frequency of peace that changes the spiritual atmosphere of your entire city. I am moving to bridge the gaps that have kept my children apart. I am using the outcasts and the forgotten to show the important people what true unity looks like. You are a minister of reconciliation. Wherever you go, I want you to carry the fragrance of peace. I see the exhaustion in your soul from the constant fighting you see on the news. I am your refuge. I am making all things new, and it starts with the way you see the person standing in front of you. Stop seeing them through the lens of a political party or a social class. See them as a soul I died for. I am healing the nations, one heart at a time, and I am starting with yours. I am breaking the spirit of division off your life. I am replacing your cynicism with a divine hope that sees the potential for beauty in the middle of the ashes. You are my ambassador. Walk with the dignity of heaven. Speak words that build up instead of tearing down. Watch as I use your small acts of kindness to heal wounds that have bled for generations. The ultimate promise is coming, a new heaven and a new earth. But I want to bring a taste of that healing to your world today, through you. I want you to look at the generations around you. I see the gap that the enemy has tried to create, the elders who feel irrelevant and the youth who feel misunderstood. I am moving to bridge that gap with a unified move of my spirit. I am fulfilling the Malachi mandate in your day. I am turning the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers. I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have always been a God of generations. I am calling the elders to stop retreating into the past and to start passing the torch of faith with intentionality and love. I see the gold in your years of experience, and I want you to pour it into the lives of the young ones who are burning with fire but lack a map. I invite the youth to honor the stabilizing force of those who have walked the path before them. I love your zeal. I put it there. I love your passion for justice and your refusal to accept a lukewarm life. But I want to marry your fire to the wisdom of the elders. When fire meets a foundation, it becomes a lighthouse. Without a foundation, it is just a forest fire. I command both generations to stop competing and start collaborating. I am building a legacy that outlasts your time on this earth. I see the grandparents who are praying for their grandchildren with tears in their eyes. I hear you. I see the young people who are desperate for a mentor. I am sending them to you. I want you to see the beauty of the multi-generational family of God. It is a tapestry of silver hair and vibrant strength, and it is a nightmare to the kingdom of darkness. I am calling you to be a bridge between the ages. If you are an elder, I command you to find a younger person to encourage today. Don't criticize their methods, celebrate their heart. If you are young, I invite you to sit at the feet of someone who has survived the storms you are just now entering. Listen to their stories of my faithfulness. This is how my kingdom advances, not through one superstar generation, but through a family that knows how to honor one another. I am weaving your lives together into something unshakable. You are part of a continuous line of faith, and I am the thread that holds it all together. I want you to look at the closed doors of your past and stop mourning them. I see the times you cried because you didn't get that job, or that relationship ended, or that opportunity vanished. My child, those closed doors were my protection in disguise. I was keeping you from a path that would have led you away from my best. But now, I am standing before you with the keys to your destiny. I am recognizing the faithfulness you showed in the dark, and I am opening doors that are custom-made for you. These are not doors you have to kick down with your own effort. They are thresholds of destiny that will open with a gentle touch. I command you to walk through these doors with confidence. Stop hesitating at the entrance, wondering if you are qualified. If I open the door, you are qualified. I am giving you a Kairos moment, an appointed time where your preparation meets my opportunity. I am granting you favor that will give you access to influential places. You will find yourself in rooms you never dreamed of, talking to people you once thought were out of your reach. Do not be intimidated. I am the one who seated you there. I invite you to step into your purpose with boldness. I have gone before you to level the path and make the crooked places straight. I see the specific opportunity you are staring at right now, the one that feels a little too big for you. That is exactly where I want you. If you could do it on your own, you wouldn't need me. I want you to rely on my strength as you cross this threshold. I am the God of the open door. When I open it, no man, no demon, and no expert can shut it. I am the Lord of your breakthroughs. I have planned this moment since before the foundation of the world. Trust my timing. Trust my favor. Breathe in the excitement of the new thing I am doing. You are moving into a season of yes and amen. The days of wandering in the hallway are over. The door is open. Step in. I want you to feel the longing in my heart for you. I am not just the king. I am a bridegroom. I am making final preparations for the marriage supper of the Lamb, and I am looking at you. I want you to live with an eternal perspective in this temporary world. I see how easy it is to get bogged down in the many things of life, the bills, the chores, the endless to-do lists. But I am calling you to the one thing. I want you to check your lamp. Do you have enough oil? Is your heart burning with a first love passion for me? Or have you let the winds of the world blow out your flame? I am the oil, and I am available to you in the secret place. I invite you to live in the joy of the anticipated union between me and my church. I am coming back for a bride who is radiant, full of love, and ready for her king. I see the areas where you feel stained or unworthy. I command you to look at my blood, not your mistakes. I have made you clean. I have made you beautiful. I am dressing you in fine linen, the righteous acts of the saints. I want you to long for my return, not because you want to escape your life, but because you want to be where I am. I am making you blameless and full of love. I am refining your desires so that you want what I want. I see the world's distractions trying to steal your gaze, trying to make you focus on the earthly bride. But I am calling you higher. I want you to walk through your day with a heavenly mindset. When you see the chaos of the world, let it remind you that this is not your home. You are a citizen of another country. You are the bride of the Most High. Stay faithful. Stay pure. Stay focused on the eastern sky. I am coming quickly, and I want to find you watching, waiting, and deeply in love. The celebration is being prepared, and your seat is reserved. Feel the pulse of eternity in your veins today. I want to issue one last call to your heart today. Are you thirsty? Are you tired of drinking from the broken wells of this world that never satisfy? I invite you to come to me and drink freely. I am the living water. I am the end of your search. I see every question you've ever asked and every hole in your heart you've tried to fill with things that don't last. I am the answer. I am making all things new. Every tear you've shed, every loss you suffered, every dream that died. I am the God of the resurrection, and nothing is ever truly lost in my hands. I am the ultimate victory of light over every form of darkness. I command you to rest in the knowledge that I have already won the war. The battle you are fighting right now is just a skirmish in a war that was decided at the cross. You are on the winning side. I want you to find your place in my heart, the place I held for you before the foundation of the world. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece of my grace. I am your eternal hope. When everything else falls away, I will remain. When the stars go dark and the earth passes away, you will be with me. This is my promise to you. I see you reaching out for me in the dark. I'm right here. I am the beginning and the end, the first and the last. I am your Father, your Savior, and your best friend. I am coming quickly, and my reward is with me. Until then, walk in my peace. Live in my power. Shine with my light. You are never alone. You are infinitely loved. You are mine forever. Go now, and live like the royalty I have made you. I am with you, always. The invitation has been issued, the table is set, and I am making all things new. Yet the invitation must reach every heart before the door is shut forever. You have felt the pulse of my eternal hope, and now I invite you to be the hands that carry this cup of living water to the ends of the earth. Supporting this mission through PayPal or membership is your yes to the Great Commission, ensuring that the sound of the new song reaches the hardened hearts that the world has forgotten. I will open the windows of heaven over your life, pouring out a blessing so great that you will not have room enough to contain it. Your sacrifice today is the bread that will feed the hungry souls of tomorrow, and I will remember your faithfulness when we sit together at the marriage supper. They don't want you to know that your generosity is a weapon that shatters the chains of darkness over entire nations. The time for delay has ended. The harvest is white and the reapers need your support. I command you to go. Click the link in the description now and become a pillar in the temple of my final move. Now that I have revealed my heart to you, I am watching with a Father's intense love to see how you will respond to the invitation I have placed in your soul. It would be the greatest sorrow to me if you heard my voice and remained the same, choosing the safety of the shore over the vastness of my spirit. I have given you everything. Now, let your life be the answer to my call. My child, I have pulled back the curtain of eternity today because I refuse to let you walk in the dark while my glory is breaking out all around you. Do not let these words simply fade into the noise of your day. Instead, I command you to seal this divine encounter with a bold declaration of your faith. I invite you to reach out right now and anchor your soul to this truth by typing "I am ready" for the NEW thing in the comments below. By doing this, you are not just interacting with a screen. You are sounding a spiritual trumpet that echoes through the halls of heaven, signaling your alignment with my rapid, unstoppable timing. I see every name that is written there, and I promise you that your public yes will unlock the specific doors of breakthrough I have custom-made for your destiny. Stand tall, my beloved, and let the world hear your heart roar, because what I am doing in you is real, it is powerful, and it is happening right now. Amen.